Salams and welcome. Today I'm going to share with you some of my experiences and stories from medical school and when I was a junior intern. I've got a list here. I will go through these various 7 or 8 stories, each in a separate video. Today we're starting off with dissection. There's a very special bond and camaraderie between medical doctors, and the reason for that is, unlike any other profession, unlike accountants or lawyers or architects or any other profession, doctors deal with human lives. And when we deal with human lives, we develop a very special bond because we are seeing life and death every day. We are seeing patients in ICU, we are seeing patients in operating theater, we are seeing how the blood flows through the system. We are touching life and death on an ongoing basis. And when I was running the private hospital as the executive strategic director, I would always remind my fellow doctors and also the nursing personnel that you must regard an operating theater. It doesn't matter what religion you are. You must regard as an operating theater as your mosque or your temple or a place of worship, because in that operating theater, you are so close to life and death. A person can die. If you have the wrong pipes, we've had many stories of the wrong pipe. Instead of oxygen, you get nitrous oxide, a patient can die. Or a patient reacts severely to the anesthetic and a patient can go into a coma. So there's so many things that can go wrong, that any operation you come out of it, no matter how minor the procedure is, must make shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thank the Supreme Creator that everything went off well. So whenever you walk into an operating theater, this is for my fellow doctors, colleagues and nursing personnel, regard that as a sacred place. And another sacred place is dissection. So my first story for today that I will be talking about is called the dissection. To dissect a human body is an unreal experience. The first day when you walk into medical school, imagine you are just out of matric, you're out of school. You're still a youngster, you're still a small light, you don't know anything. You've done your first year, you've done your maths, your science, your physics, your biology and everything. And now you're walking with your white lab coat. And this is a very interesting thing. On the first day, you're smelling very nice. And I'll come to this smell, and the fellow doctors know what I'm talking about. And you look at all these bodies laid out, white cloth, 100, 200 bodies laid out. Imagine human beings in one big hall. Is like you're going to a wedding hall, but instead of food on the table, there are human beings on the table. Every table has got a human being. And to see 100 dead bodies, cadavers, laying there with a white sheet over them, and then you are allocated. You go to that body, you go to this. So you get table partners around that body, because you have two sides to the body, left side and right side. So your partner's on the other side, you on the side here, and then you cut, that person cuts the right side of the body, you cut the left side of the body. Now can you imagine? You're a youngster. Now you must go and must buy a scalpel blade and forceps, and now you must cut into a human being. It's a dead body. Must first remove the skin. It takes about 1 week to remove the entire skin. By the time the skin is removed, you don't know who is a black body and who is a white body and who is an Indian body. They all look the same, because inside the heart is the same blood. Everyone got the same red blood. And that's why I say many times, especially whether it's in this country or anywhere else, when you hire a person, don't hire a person based on the color of the skin of that person. The brain is not in the skin of the person. Okay, underneath we are all the same. Even the melanin pigmentation, everyone got the same melanin pigmentation. It just depends how many dots per square inch there are. The more dots per square inch, like a printer, computer printer, the more dots per square inch that you have, the darker your skin color. The fewer dots per square inch you have, the lighter your skin color. But the melanin pigmentation is the same. The pink and brown melanin pigmentation is the same. Okay, so now the thing that strikes you first is the formalin, because the bodies are soaked in formalin juice. And that smell remains with you for a long, long time. Your books get soaked in that formalin juice. You come home, you are stinking. When you go into the lift, the other students who are in third year and fourth year, they tease you. There's a second year in the lift, and then we all know, yes, they're referring to us, because now your whole lab coat, you got stains of the juices when you're cutting the human body. But one thing which I was very dumb when I was young. I was ignorant. I'm still ignorant in many ways. People have, we don't have much intelligence, and that's why I love to seek knowledge, because I'm learning all the time. One big thing I made, and I'm talking to my Muslim colleagues at the moment, even my Christian colleagues, whatever religion you are following. The one mistake I did as a Muslim, I did not thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I did not thank the Creator. Nor did I thank the dead human body who was there. But afterwards, later in life, and I would urge you to do this, make 2 rakat shukr. Pray to God Almighty. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Say, Ya Allah, thank you for this human being who gave up his life so that I could get my knowledge. Now, in those days when I matriculated in 1976, so we're talking of the days of apartheid, and there was a lot of trauma in the country, but we couldn't get trauma bodies. You couldn't dissect on a trauma body. But these were very poor people. These were bodies that were unclaimed. They had no family. Now imagine a poor person, they would keep the body in the mortuary for about 1 year. And if no one claimed, they would give out adverts. But after 1 year, if no one claims that body, then they would send it to medical school and we would dissect the body. Then afterwards, a phenomenal wisdom occurred to me that this human being that nobody wanted, nobody cared for this human being. Majority of them were blacks. Some of them were whites who donated their bodies to science. But the majority of them were blacks, poor. So the whites were the wealthy ones who said, you know what, we want to give our bodies to science and may they be rewarded for that. But the majority of them were blacks who were poor. No one wanted them, homeless people. But you know what? In their death, can you imagine, in their death, they educated the doctors. Can you imagine what a gift that is? So when no one wanted them, not even the family people wanted them, but in their very death, they are educating the doctors of the world. What a great gift. So we must never look at a person, never judge another human being. So these are phenomenal times. We would help one another, cutting the body, looking at the arteries. Where's the jugular vein? The jugular arteries, the carotid veins, carotid artery. Look at the heart. Look at the aortic arch. Cut the heart open. Look at the left ventricle, the right ventricle, the left aorta, the aortic arch, the subclavian arteries. And then the inferior vena cava, the superior vena cava, and look at then we go to the liver, cut the liver open, hold the heart in your hand, hold the liver in your hand, hold the kidney in your hand, look at how the ureters come into the bladder, and we say, Ya Allah, what a magnificent creator. There's a supreme creator. This thing did not happen by chance. Then you cut the body, you cut the tissues into slices, look under a microscope. You see, there's a smooth muscle, there's a striated muscle. This is a heart muscle. These are Purkinje fibers. Heart got electricity inside. That is why when the heart stops, you shock it with electricity. You give it electricity because the heart got electricity inside. The action potentials. The brain got electricity inside. This human brain got electricity inside. If you put electrodes around the brain, you can take a 20-watt bulb, a bulb, electric, a globe. You put it to your head with wires, and it'll on. At night, you can see a light bulb. So please don't use it load shedding. There's ways to do it. So please don't not put a globe here and say, yeah, the doctor said in load shedding must use a globe. Please, no, I'm talking about experimental conditions. But there's electricity in the brain, there's electricity in the heart. That is why you must not put your fingers in electric switch. You get a shock because you're grounded. The whole body is full of water. 70% water. So coming back to dissection, you develop a bond with your dissection partners. You develop love, friendship. You will remember that friendship for the rest of your life. Because as young human beings, uneducated human beings who only know science and chemistry, now we are dealing with a human body. And that friendship remains for the rest of your life. After that, after you finish cut the human body, there are very few human beings on the face of the earth who have cut the human body. From head to toe, from the skin to the bone, and to study every organ in the human body. When we had a male cadaver, when we finished the male anatomy, we then go to the next door to the other people who had a female, because we need to study the male anatomy and the female anatomy. On the female side, the reproductive organs, the ovary, the uterus, all of that, the male reproductive organs. So we need to understand the male anatomy, the female anatomy from head to toe. And we exchange ideas, would laugh together, and sometimes would be very quiet. You got to learn very quickly. The words are very difficult. In those days, we had Tobias and Arnold by Professor Philip Tobias. I don't know today in WITS Medical School what books they use, but in addition to Tobias and Arnold, we used to study that very thick tome, that thick book, Gray's Anatomy. You remember that book? And then my favorite, I had my own set, which I bought from the school bookshop called Sabota Atlas. Wow, that Sabota Atlas. But in today's time, when I'm seeing this 3D, today's anatomy instructions are so fabulous. The way the internet has changed the world, it is absolutely amazing. So just in short, just to remind all of you how we all grew up in medical school and how those fabulous years were at during the cadaver sessions. And on the first day, I don't know if you had that tradition, but at WITS Medical School, we had the tradition where one of the students, there was a challenge. One of the students had to swallow the eyeball of a cow. So I don't know if that tradition still holds today, but in those days, there was some weird stuff was going on. But thank you for joining me, and please share with me your comments. I love to hear from you. As what I said, I'm sitting here all alone in my room. Please let me know your thoughts. I've got the spinal disability, victim of home invasion, gunshots, 3 bullets. So I'm sitting here all alone in quarantine, 20 hours of bed. So let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts from medical school? Or even if you're in nursing college, or if you're a paramedic or ambulance personnel, let me know your thoughts. And let's keep me going. I may not be able to answer all your questions. I read all the comments, but sometimes it becomes so difficult for me to type. My hand goes through difficulty, but I try. Talking now is easier for me. Stay well, look after yourself, share your memories. Even if you're in another profession, let me know how you are as an accountant. Do accountants have this camaraderie? I don't know. Do architects, do you all get around, do you all meet one another and say, what, we saw that ancient building and we developed a bond? I don't know. But we as doctors, we develop a bond. Because after we have cut a human being, you are no longer the same human being. I think 99.9% of the people on earth have not cut a human being from head to toe. So doctors are very special people, very difficult to become a doctor. Stay well, look after yourself.